Welcome to the Clay Edwards Podcast, the shot of adrenaline your mornings didn't know we needed. It's now time to sit down, strap in, and turn it up to 11.
Are you ready?
I feel like Jackson, Mississippi.
As we go to war for the soul of America, your host, award-winning podcaster, Clay Edwards.
All right. Good morning, Vietnam. This is your host, Clay Edwards, and we are here live at the Clay Edwards Show. I have my good friend, Mr. Chad Wesley, across the decks from me here. Chad, how are you doing, brother?
Good, man. I'm alive with you. I'm on here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
There we
yes,
are.
All right, there we are.
You can hear me now. Good. What's up?
Man, we are here. Hey, look, we're here in the Generator Power Solutions studio. Check them out online at generatorpowersolutions.llc.com or give them a call at 601-519-4064. It's always better to be ready than have to get ready. And the recent ice storms, the constant threat of tornadoes, hurricanes, and everything else in Mississippi, can you ever really be too prepared? If you want to partake in the Monday morning shot of adrenaline, you can reach us on the Black Axis Throwing Club phone line at 601-879-0002 right here in the 1039 WYAB studios. Again, that's the Black Axis Throwing Club caller line, 601-879-0002. And while we have Chad in the studio, man, this kind of worked out. I brought Chad in, not so much to talk about music and everything, but I brought Chad in this morning to be our resident millennial.
Yes. And my name is Chad, so it works out great.
It is a Chad and a millennial. So he two birds, one stone.
Cool.
So,
half your audience hates me already. It's great, man.
I know, man. We're the boomer generation. I don't know how Gen Zers became boomers.
They're Zoomers.
Zoomers. Is that what we are?
Yeah.
That's right. See, to me, that sounds more like the I generation.
Well, it's. I mean, if you look at the last 100 years, it's just split up into your greatest generation, which was, which was your World War II generation, and then the kids they had was the baby boomers up until 65, and then after that was Gen X up until 80, and then up until 95 was millennial, and then after that was Gen Z, and now we're into Generation Alpha. So,
I would like to be Generation Alpha.
The idea of generations is just that we have expanded so much as humanity in the last century, and technology so rapidly grown that generations are literally growing up in different worlds. So that's kind of what the basis of splitting, people into generations.
Yeah, they say I was born in the smallest generation in the last 100 years or so. That 1977 to 81 ish. It's like the smallest generation ever, which seems weird. I would think the current generation, and we're going to talk about this, would be the smallest generation. But I guess it's just so many humans now. But maybe on a percentage basis of alive humans having children. Yeah. But you could still have more children per capita.
Well, yeah, folks were doing good in the 80s. So my generation is now the largest generation, and it was the boomers, But
this is a little before your time. But, so I growing up in the 80s and seeing my parents having fun, it was the urban cowboy era. It was the cocaine cowboys era, which we didn't know about until later. And, like that was actually called something. But man, what a great time that would have been to have been an adult. I mean, you'd be older now, but I guess you'd be kind of over the nonsense.
Right.
But I always think back, like, man, if I could have picked any other time within my lifetime to have been an adult, it would have been the 80s with the music and the concerts and the whole Jackson was popping.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been a fun time to be alive.
I often think that myself.
Oh, yeah. Look, no doubt. Look, the live music scene in Jackson in the 80s, the Town Creek, places like that. Absolutely just off the chain.
Yeah, man, I've heard stories. I really have. As a matter of fact, I didn't really get into that scene until about 2002 when I started playing live. But I missed the dock. I missed it by just a smidge.
God, I didn't.
A good southern measurement system right there. I missed it just by a smidge because I turned to 18 in 2004 and it shut down in 2004. So I just missed it.
Look, I'm going to give my doc story real quick and then we'll kind of jump into the show. So one of my first jobs ever was delivering beer from one of the local beer companies. I was 18, maybe 19. We had one draft beer route, is what they call it, the draft beer truck. It delivered to every bar and restaurant in Jackson, one truck. Me and a guy named Jim King, and I was the helper on the truck. Well, I guess when we were delivering beer to the dock, they just assumed that you had to be 21 to deliver beer to the dock. Well, I also had a fake ID. Well, they were like, the dock had these dock VIP cards, and you could just show it, and you got in free, skip the line, the whole 9 yards. But it was basically a copy, the photocopy of your driver's license picture, and then they put in the name. It basically looked like a Blockbuster card with your picture on it. Well, I'd been using this thing as 18, 19, 20 years old, going to the dock for 3 years. And I didn't have many friends that were old enough to go, so it wasn't like I was out there all the time. But as I got closer to 21, we were going more and more and more. Well, I had this bright idea. Well, first off, they would see the ID, and the guy whose ID it was banned from the dock, the name. But they knew I wasn't him. They're like, well, you have the wrong name. We have a guy that's banned. I ain't going to say his name on the radio. But so long story short, my 21st birthday, we go to I skipped school that day. I'm going to Hines. We got to the casinos, do the Vic's birthday, and we come back. And I've been going to the casinos for 3 years with a fake ID. on my 21st birthday, or on the guy's 21st birthday that I was using his ID, we went to the casino. He couldn't get in, but I got in with his ID. So anyway, fast forward to my 21st birthday, we end up out at the dock. And we're going in. I'm like, I'm going to use my ID. I hand on my ID. Dude, fire engine red mad. They're like, you have been lying to us. Just get in there. Give me that ID. Give me that VIP card. They tore it up. So when I turned 21, I lost my VIP status at the dock. But, man, we had a lot. And then I got a boat around 24 years old. And every Sunday at the dock, man, it was just it was a great time to be alive. You know,
had a boat?
Yeah, I had a boat. I had a 23-foot deep well bayliner, so it had an open.
Welcome to the Clay Edwards Podcast, the shot of adrenaline your mornings didn't know we needed. It's now time to sit down, strap in, and turn it up to 11. Are you ready?
I feel like Jackson, Mississippi.
As we go to war for the soul of America, your host, award-winning podcaster, Clay Edwards.